Hi, Scorpio and Scorpio Rising. Here is your horoscope for December 2025. I'm Astrologer Joseph Anthony. All right, here we are, final month of 2025, and what a year it's been. Of course, last month in November, we had Mercury going retrograde, and it went retrograde back in your sign right here. So many of you are really contemplating, where you're going, what are you doing? But this month looks much better because now the planets and the Sun, Mars, and Venus have moved into Sagittarius, which is very optimistic, and into your second house of income and values. So now you're starting to see the bigger picture in December. So this looks much better. Now, the downside is that, there are a couple of alignments that are happening. Pluto here, continues to go through your fourth house of home, feeling, and foundation. So below the surface, there's a lot of stuff going on, subconsciously, emotionally, the family dynamics, maybe real estate matters. These things are like on your mind quite a bit, especially since Jupiter also went retrograde. That also deals with emotions and real estate matters. So it's not a terrible looking month for, by any means. It actually looks pretty good, but your mind will be super active this entire month. Regarding financial investments, things having to do with practicality, maybe even politics. And then it'll go into the third house of communication and ideas. Once the Sun, Mars, and Venus all enter the third house, your mind is, getting serious about what you want and where you want to go in 2026. So it looks like a pretty good month overall. So if you're a rising sign in Scorpio, or if you are a sun sign in Scorpio, this is a very general sun sign reading using Western tropical astrology, using the whole house system. And this is where we zero out every house, and then we put the sign that we want to look at on the first house here. And so this could be a sun sign or a rising sign, but you'll notice it's zero. Most of our charts have numbers on here because there's 30 degrees to each house in Western astrology. So this is going to be very basic and very general. Your birth chart will be much more accurate. This is about 70% accurate. Your birth chart will be more like, 90% accurate. So this is just a general overview of what's going on. So, just take that, and if you understand your own personal birth chart, even better. So I always like to look at the sun chart, which this is, and a birth chart to get more information. So anyway, let's go dive into what the astrology is suggesting this month that we're looking at. Now, let's look at Uranus here. Uranus has backpedaled into Taurus for the last time. And it's going to do this for the next couple of months, actually quite a few months. I think it's April that it leaves here again, goes back into your 8th house. So this is a kind of a review process to go over everything that you've done with your partners, if you have a business, with the people in your life. This is all sort of a review process over the next couple of months. And it's a slow review process, and especially having to do with values and your financial resources, because it's the sign of Taurus. And so Taurus and Scorpio are both the signs that represent sort of the material side of life. And so here we see quite a few planets in retrograde, but fortunately Mercury's out of retrograde. But here we have Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto. These are the four planets that are in retrograde. Not a big deal. You could handle this, especially with all this optimistic Sagittarius energy. But as we begin the month, Venus has entered Sagittarius. It actually happened on the last day of November, and there it is right there. And Venus here in the second house can be very beneficial for making money or taking charge of investments or deciding to have some sort of business arrangement of some kind. So this could be really beneficial here for the rest of the month going into the new year. And so look upon that as something favorable. Now, the other thing that, because we have all these planets in here and Venus is there, maybe you want to travel with a partner. This could be a possibility here as well. Okay, but I'm going to lean towards it has something to do with investments, and it has something to do with partnerships if you have a business. So this could be quite beneficial. So I would take advantage of this energy as Venus makes its way through this second house. Now, the full moon in Gemini this month, which is on the 4th into the 5th, is going to be right here in the 8th house, and it's going to be at 13 degrees of Gemini opposing the Sun at Gemini. And both of these houses have to do with resources and money and finance and, debt and taxes and all of that stuff pertaining to the financial realm. And so this is, again, highlighting something about your investments, Maybe you're having important conversations with your accountant or somebody that's handling money for you, or maybe you're doing the same for somebody else. And so it has a lot to do with that. Now, the other thing that the 8th house represents, and this is the house that Scorpio naturally is associated with, things like death and rebirth, transformation, power struggles, things pertaining to shared resources of some kind, like you and a spouse, you and a business partner, you and somebody else in your life that you're kind of tied into. And so this Gemini moon has possibly 2 things going on simultaneously because it's the sign of the twins, and having a lot of conversation or thoughts about where you're going. And so a full moon brings things to light. So you're going to be needing to pay attention really the first week of December about the financial picture, because everything here is about finances. It could also be about real estate. So that's why I brought up Pluto in the 4th house. Now that it's going direct, you might want to decide to move or maybe invest in property or something. Now, Neptune goes direct around the 10th here, right there. And it's in Pisces as well. You see it in stationary position before it moves direct. And it's in the 5th house. So this is going to help a lot with creativity over the course of the next couple of months as, Neptune makes its way out of here back into the 6th house next year. This is creative endeavors. So you're thinking outside the box. You're thinking, how can I do this, and this for next year? Things pertaining to your children, your love life, projects that you're working on. And so this is very intuitive also when Neptune is in Pisces going forward as opposed to going retrograde. And so this is going to help you out a lot. So trust your spidey senses at this time, okay? Now, Mercury re-enters Sagittarius on the 11th and 12th right there. And so this is going to amp up that energy once again with thoughts of investments, money matters, traveling, exploring, potential partnerships of all kinds, okay? But this is more quick-witted. Mercury in Sagittarius is very sharp, and it gets to things very quickly, and it speaks its mind very quickly. And so you might be having very important conversations with others about your job or your business or, your financial matters, investments, where's the world going? You might have even philosophical discussions because this is Sagittarius, and Sagittarius loves to talk about the big picture, the meaning of life, what is God, religion, politics. This all falls under this umbrella. And so your mind is going to be on overload with all of this as Mercury makes its way through Sagittarius. Now, Mars enters Capricorn. Now the energy starts to shift around the 15th and 16th. Mars in Capricorn works actually very well. And so 3rd house is again about communication, but this time it's about disciplined communication. Mars in Capricorn will steady your energy flow. And so the 3rd house is like, I need to build this, and this. I need to structure this, and this. I'm going to do it this, and this. And so there's a very organized, meticulous way of doing things with Mars in Capricorn. And so this is a great time to literally sit down and figure out what you want for 2026. Okay? So this is the month that is setting the stage for 2026. The new moon in Sagittarius continues the optimism. And this is going to be at 28 degrees of Sagittarius, or wherever that is in your actual birth chart. You want to take a look at that. And so here's the 2nd house of income and values. And there could be an opportunity that comes your way, either for A, travel, B, investments, or something to do with financial matters. Maybe you're buying something large, like a car or a boat, an RV, I don't know. But I'm just tossing it out there, just to give you an idea of what it is. Remember, your actual birth chart is going to be more accurate than this. This is just a general overview. And so the new moon is definitely going to be more optimistic. Okay, it's very creative. And you're going to find yourself kind of maybe a little scattered because there's so much energy around this new moon. All right. So, but I still see it as a positive. Then, of course, the sun enters Capricorn this time of the year, which is normal, 21st and 22nd, marking the winter solstice in the northern hemisphere. And the ideas are continuing to percolate in a very steady flow, in a very easygoing nature. I need to do this, and this. All right, I'm going to do this, and this. That kind of mindset is what I'm seeing here. Okay, so this could be very positive and very creative. And then, of course, we also have Venus entering Capricorn as well on the 24th and 25th. As you can see here, this little trifecta here is absolutely going to have you focused on business matters, structure, organizing, being meticulous, talking to who you need to talk to, very important people, and getting your job or your business in high gear for 2026. That's what I'm seeing. So there's a lot of important conversations taking place here. Around this time of the year for you guys. All right. Anyway, there's the general overview. If you want to know more, I do an extended version of this in my Inner Circle community, which you can join here and with a 7-day free trial. Also do the weekly astrologies, and the members really do enjoy that. And of course, we get on the Zoom call every Sunday, and we're chatting it up about everything that's going on. I make some more predictions using the astrology. We go over important figures in the public. And so there's a whole lot of things going on in our community. So I left the link down below. Check it out, and I hope to see you in the community. Anyway, have a great month and a great new year, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye for now.